We are going to get started because we're a little late, and we do have a 7:30 start for our full Board of Ed meeting. So we're going to start the Regional School District Number 19 Board of Ed Finance Committee meeting, September 1, 2020, 7 p.m. And we've got a pretty full agenda here, so I'm going to turn it over to Janice.
Okay, so
Started.
welcome everyone. We'll call the meeting to order for our Finance Committee meeting, September 1st, 2020. And I'll jump right into our agenda. Charmaine, do you want to start us off with the proposed 2019-2020 year-end transfers?
Absolutely. Good evening,
Okay.
good evening, good evening. It's, as was said earlier, has been a wonderful day. I'm going to say wonderful because it's been wonderfully busy. So, the first three items on the agenda I'll take, and I'm going to go through them at a pretty decent clip. Please stop me as we go through the exercise, because I really want to make sure that you have adequate and sufficient time to ask questions of Aga as it relates to the financial statements.
Okay.
If that's okay. Okay. So the first item on our list is the proposed 1920 year-end transfers. I just love the concept of having money to transfer at the end of the year.
I agree.
You guys had, now granted, I try and find the silver linings in the COVID 2020 here. Even though it's COVID-19, I'm calling it the COVID 2020. This year has been something. So without reading all of this to you, I just wanted to pull out the highlights because my presumption is that everyone has access to this information. If I'm incorrect, please let me know.
And we did talk about it a little bit at the last Finance Committee meeting.
And even more information has come since that meeting. It's awesome. So overall, a transfer of $804,000 will be made, or is what our recommendation is. Oh, I should step back. You're under budget by $150. Yay!
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
Once you look at all of the extra funds that you really had across the board as a result of closing down due to COVID, and with that medical insurance surplus, you got a lot to work with. And so the total that we're looking to move and we're recommending to move is $804,000. And we're looking to move that to 2 capital project funds and to your debt service fund to support future needs. Okay. So again, the highlights, because there were pretty much every single account line had something going on in it. So we really kind of took the highlights to present to you. We can do the granular detail if you'd like, or share that with you. But again, this is where really the meat is on the bone. The social studies, you're looking at a transfer, an increase of $2,648. Again, primarily due to the costs associated with instructional services. I kind of listened in on your last meeting, all the things that are associated with kind of trying to keep up with the health and wellness of students, over the course of the spring semester is kind of where you took a little bit of a hit there. The IT, of course, having to distribute devices, all the requisite technology that was necessary kind of pushed you over just a smidge. It wasn't a huge hit, but it pushed you over nonetheless. The special education instruction, again, the increase is primarily due to final payments of the special ed settlement offset by saving some of the instructional assistance. Okay, so 96,000 isn't the real number, but that's the net effect of that issue. Tuition payments, $281,000, This is the increase is due to the net expenditures higher than budgeted. The savings in other line items kind of level set this out. So therefore, you're looking at the net effect of $281,000. Okay. Psychological services, $1,387. Again, an increase due to social worker salaries being a little bit higher than budgeted. And then the superintendent's office, this $9,007 is the net effect of the superintendent's payout against the savings that you all had, again, due to COVID. So the transfers, this is my favorite part of the document, is that first page at the bottom. So the transfers out to capital projects and debt services, as I said earlier, is $804,000. The recommendation after we sat down with Sharon to talk about kind of what the needs are for 2021 and even further out, this is kind of where we landed as far as the recommendation for the transfers. So capital projects for COVID-19 IT needs, because who knows what's going to happen, but to be prepared, $294,000. The fact that you have that kind of funds to put in that capital account is awesome. So $294,000 could be used to build the reserves for your one-to-one program that you're looking to do. Okay, for the district, for all, as they rotate in, every 4 years you're going to get every year you're going to get a new freshman class that you're going to need to support. The capital projects for the athletic facilities, $200,000 to put towards that. Okay, and that can be used to fund the needs of any of the unexpected costs, as well as what you have projected for regular maintenance. And then lastly, transfer to debt services. Yay, $310,000. See, I'm trying to make it fun. $310,000, yes, to be used to reduce future contributions from the general fund, which means that alleviates a little bit of pressure off of your general fund for any unexpected expenditures that may be coming down the pike. So that's your sum total of your $804,000 for as our recommendations from the finance department.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you go to the next page, the last page of that first document, it's the budgetary reductions. Anything that was over $10,000, we kind of highlighted here. Again, overall key budget categories experience the savings as a result of the district's closure. So again, trying to find the silver lining in what has been a very stressful, challenging year. The special education management account, $246,000 was saved from not utilizing professional and technical services. So we were closed, so you didn't utilize some of those services that you normally would use. And again, with the executive order, I'm sure the superintendent and my predecessor worked to sort of negotiate those contracts so that you would not have to be responsible for the expected dollar amount for the balance of the year. So that's a pretty substantial savings. The plant operations, $104,000 due to closing, savings from the Campus Depot lease payment. I'm sorry, not closing, but the lease payment. So apparently it was budgeted for $25,000 and it's not due to be paid. Last year, it's due to be paid the next year. So you're able to save the $25,000. So, and so that payment is not due until 22-23. So you've got some savings there.
So that is correct. That number is correct. That 22-23. I thought it was supposed to be 2023, but it's 22-23.
Fiscal year 22-23.
Yeah.
So as in fiscal year 19-20, fiscal year 2021, 21-22, 22-23.
Okay.
That's what I was instructed, that was the when that actually the trigger is supposed to be pulled on.
Whoa. Okay. I won't be around.
Huh?
Good.
I
I hope to be. So, anywho, the transportation costs of $78,136 for general education, and $155,000, $635 for special education savings. That's huge. Again, with the executive order, you were able to renegotiate and get some of those numbers down. So that was your savings in respect of general ed and special education transportation. And then, of course, the athletic programs. So spring sports were obviously canceled. So there was a savings of $237,000 on that end as well. So that's pretty much the highlights for fiscal year 19-20. And, we're recommending those transfers that I outlined on the first page for $804,000 to be distributed in accordance to the list that's on the first page. So I would be asking if you all were in agreement, or if you had any questions or concerns, to please let me know now, and then we can kind of talk through them. I know that was kind of quick, but.
Just a quick comment. So I caught my mistake. Fiscal year 22, there's no slash between the 22, 23. So I thought you were talking about the year 22. And I'm like, I'm not going to be around for that date.
Oh,
That's only 3 years.
You're going to be around, so good luck. Oh, God.
Got some preservatives going on.
22/23.
Okay. I'll make future note that I'm supposed to put a slash in between them.
Okay, that's helpful.
I put my own slash in there.
Okay.
Good.
People have questions, comments? about what
I
we
have,
just-
this is Tony. I have one
Yep.
question, and I'm just trying to remember, and I'm just sort of, we had that amount that Sherry was holding in reserve that because we underpaid some
Oh.
state.
Right.
And she had talked at one point about maybe we would start dipping into that. I just wondered, Charmaine, are you aware of that number, and did we touch it, or did we, or did we leave it?
Can you give me, and Aga might be able to help me, what reserve are we speaking of?
It's
Yeah,
about,
that's a debt service, right, for 468,000?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about it, and Sherry feels like we should still keep it because
Okay,
we just don't feel comfortable spending that money.
Right.
Yep.
Sherry called many times the state, and she said that she wasn't able to get an answer. So she just doesn't feel comfortable. We talked about it, and we have that marked in the debt service. It's still sitting there.
okay, great.
Our
So the goal
payable.
is to get something in writing from the
Mhm.
state. So as Aga indicated that there were several phone calls made, she still didn't get anything in writing, even though others had said they heard from other districts that, that it was being forgiven or waived. Until we get it in writing, we all know that the government can come back years
Yep.
after the fact and ask for it.
good question, Tony. Thank you. Anything else on that? Year-end transfers for 2019-20?
so the fact that I'm sorry, Jen,
Go ahead, Nancy.
the fact that we're getting the CARES funding, that doesn't affect anything that we're transferring now.
That's the next piece.
Okay.
Correct.
Charmaine?
That's the next
Oh,
piece.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you want to go on to the next piece?
So you want to combine, so you don't want to make the motion on this? You
Well,
wanna do
we
the next
could,
piece?
yeah. If we're ready, does somebody want to
Yeah.
make a motion then?
I'll move that we accept the transfers from 2019, 2020 budget to our next budget, 2020-21.
I second that.
Okay, Nancy. Nancy seconds. Any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor, show by raising your hand. Except we can't see James Mark's hand.
Is
Uh-oh.
he ex officio or is he?
You don't need me to vote.
Okay, thank you.
Right,
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Good. Okay, on to the next one.
Okay, so the next item is the 2021 budget adjustment.
Okay,
So the fiscal year 1920 year-end transfer included $190,000 transfer to debt service,
right.
okay? On top of the extra money that we were able to do, which is what got you the $310,000,
Oh, okay, I get that now. Okay, all right,
okay. Yep,
got it.
Okay, so that being the case, that would eliminate the need to hold the $190,000 in the general fund for this year's debt service contribution.
okay.
Oh, see, I get that. Okay.
Charmaine, can I explain that just a little bit as far as quickly as I can? So you all approved from last year's money, a good chunk of funding to support our COVID issues in the fall, not knowing what the State Department of Ed was going to be providing to us for funding.
Right.
So what the State Department did provide was our full ask for PPE and for cleaning materials and for transportation. What they did not fund was any requests for personnel.
Okay.
So what this transfer would allow is by transferring the $190,000 from not needing to use the $190,000 for debt service from the operating budget allows us then that flexibility for needs for those purposes that weren't funded by the state.
Okay.
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 That makes a lot clearer, Sharon, thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
So a
Good.
contingency fund account was created for Region 19 to accommodate exactly what Sharon just spoke to.
Okay.
Okay, all right, right.
So we could use that for whatever we needed, i.e. Funding salaries or that sort of thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Good. Good.
You
Are
need a
there any
motion on that?
questions on this?
Yeah, and the rest is we've already made that decision because we knew about the CARES Act, the 423,327. We talked about that. Okay, yeah, so we do need a motion.
I will so move.
Okay.
Second,
Okay, second by Elizabeth. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand.
aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Great.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so additional granular detail regarding, so the next document is the capital fund adjustments.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the facilities renovation maintenance account.
Yep.
In the previous year-end discussion. So throughout, as soon as we have the opportunity to close out one of these capital projects, we like to do so. So if you look at the chart, you will see that there's a few dollars lingering around in the greenhouse project, maintenance project. Though, you know, we're moving the dollars around just to close them out, so to speak. So if you look at the first item, the appropriate an additional $2,600 to cover the overrun, meaning it costs us a little bit more than what we thought. That's what, you know, a negative balance is sitting out there and we need to clear it. You had some money in the maintenance project. In that way we could cover the greenhouse project with that little bit of excess that we had left over.
Yeah.
And then the track reconditioning and the synthetic turf replacement. Again, the appropriation for transfer of funds, athletic facility reno maintenance to combine projects, all of that stuff was kind of combined. We had a number of different account lines that weren't necessary any longer. And so we wanted to combine these because it's all working towards the same end. And these are the credits to adjust that so that they can be all combined into one account.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it. Yep.
And then you see the $294,000 for the computer equipment and the $256,000. So out of your $804,000, everything below the 2,600 is kind of impacting all of that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is, from my understanding, information purposes only. Actually, I think you do need to vote to do a motion on this to accept these movements.
Okay. And motion? Can I have a motion?
Move that we accept the capital projects as of June 30th and any adjustments that we've made, changes.
Okay.
I'll
So,
second,
thank you.
I'll second.
Nancy? Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Just before you vote.
Oh,
This
yep.
is I'm back. This is just a recommendation to the board. The board votes on it.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So we're making a recommendation. Is that a friendly adjustment? Yeah,
That's fine, yes.
okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, that passes. Good. We'll recommend that to the board. All righty. So last but not least, you're going to take us quickly through the financial report? Is that what-
Okay. Okay, how much time do I have? 3 minutes?
3 minutes?
3 minutes. Oh my. All right. Okay, so I'll be telling the page. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be taking you through the pages. So I'm going to be talking about revenue budget first on page 4.
Mhm.
So the revenue for members towns was fully collected, as you can see. Agate grant collection budget is calculated on estimated number of students. We try to be pretty conservative with that. That's why we see actual number much bigger than what we budgeted for. So we are over here by 136,000. On special education line over here, the total collection to date is really 545,000. What we see over here, the 80,000 is really a net amount after the transfer of 465,000 to the reserve fund. The revenue report shows special education tuition collection of 80,000, but it really is the net amount. Okay, we also see on the revenue statement the health insurance surplus transfer of 413,000 that was made at the end of the fiscal year that everybody remembers. I'll move to page 5 and 7. That's just a general overview of all the funds for region, and in the total, the cash balance is positive balance, so that's good, and the available balance, fund balance, is at 1.6, so that looks good also. And I will move to the debt service fund on page 8. The fund balance as of 6/30th for debt service is 202,758, and we paid down our debt by 155,000 this year. And you can take a look at the schedule over here that shows that also on page 11. I'm sorry if I'm going fast, but you told me to.
Oh, blame
Are you
somebody.
on page 11?
Yes, yes.
So you can see the 135,000 on 2020 column. You can see the transfer of 135,000 that we budgeted for, and 155,000 paid down, and that leaves us with the balance of 202,759. So that looks good also. And we'll move to the capital projects that we kind of mentioned already with the transfers by Charmaine. So I'll just mention the major project that we are actually undertook this year. That's the roof project replacement and the solar installation. For the roof project, expenditures are at that's page, I'm sorry, that's page 13. Our expenditures for roof project are at 3.8 million, and the budgeted amount was 5.2 million. We are in process of submitting for the state reimbursement of the expenditures to date. And funding for that project already actually started in 2018 when the transfer from the surplus was moved to both of those projects, and we see that as in received on revenue column for 34,000 and 330,000. That was already done in 2018 for that project, so we started saving for that. And bond anticipation note were issued in July 2020 for that in the amount of 4.3 million that will be due in December. We'll move to health insurance
Oh,
fund.
could I stop for,
Yep.
a question? The amount you just cited, the 5.2 was for the roof, but not for the solar. The solar was separate.
No, yes,
But you're
combined,
on page 3 of your report, you lump them together under the 5.2. So you should make a change there. go back-
sure.
Actually,
I-
yeah, it says that the budget for the roof and the solar is the 5.2 million.
Yeah, I'll put a note, I'll combine that. I mean, I have the numbers here in parentheses.
Okay, I just wanted,
But-
because that's the
Yeah.
summary, I just wanted to make sure that got fixed.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I'll make a correction for that. Yes, so if we're talking both projects together, I should combine those numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. So I'll move to health insurance fund. That's page 15. The expenditures exceeded revenue through June 30th by 115,000. And that's caused because of the surplus transfer of 1.2 million. And this fund is actually for entities. It's not just for region. So the numbers are much larger. It's for town, for Mansfield Board of Ed, and also for region. So it's all combined. Fund balance was reduced from 5,343,982 on July 1st, 2019 to 5,228,336 at June 30th. This fund balance is still pretty large. That's why we were doing the transfer last year, and we were planning for the transfer next year. We'll be talking about it next year at the end of the year after we will hear from Anthem and the contract is signed. Also here, if you want to take a look really quick on page 18, the average monthly invoicing for the claims is 510,823, which comparing to last year was 544,364, which represents the decrease of 6.2%, which is due to the COVID event. You can see it in April, May, and June. The claims were really low in about 300,000. The workers' compensation fund looks good. There is an increase of 5,000 in fund balance comparing to 2019. That's page 19. And on page 21, fund 922, that's the miscellaneous special revenue fund. And that includes a variety of special projects funded by specific revenue sources. But that includes activity 62263, which is special education that I mentioned before. And that has an ending balance of 615,792 as of June 30th, 2020. That is the majority of the total balance for that fund. In the investment account on page 22, we have a balance of 1.2 million, and we collected interest of 19,000. And on page 23, that's a special education analysis. Again, this is the third time I'm mentioning that. We budgeted to receive 794,080 in revenue. We actually collected 633,795. The revenue collected consists of state grant and was received in full amount. We also received some Medicaid reimbursement that we didn't really budget for. And then tuition income was less than what we were budgeting. And shortage in tuition collection is caused by COVID events also. Comparing to previous years, we usually collect more. We budgeted 4.2 million in expenditures. The expenditures line included outplaced tuition, transportation costs, instruction and management. The actual cost added to 3.7 million, lower than budgeted, which also is due to COVID events. In overall, we were budgeting net shortage of 120,000, but as of the end of the year, actually ended with net excess of 212,865. And it leaves us with the special education reserve balance as of July 1st, 2020 of $615,792. And we kind of going back to the revenue again, just to, I guess, get it together with the expenses at the end of the financial statement, because we talked already about revenue on page 24. I'm not going to repeat that. And we finished with the expenditures report by activity or by object, however anybody likes it, but it comes up to the same amount that we were transferring, 804,151 that Charmaine was talking about. And that would be it.
Thank you. Yes, you do it.
Sorry.
A speed report, and you surely did. Next time we'll have a little more time, hopefully.
Okay. I tried.
It was very good, Aga, thanks.
Now, do we have to, I think we're just receiving the financial statements tonight on the board agenda. I'm looking for my board agenda.
They were included in the, I think, in
Yes.
the email.
We're not acting on any of them on the
Yeah.
board.
We're not doing
Okay,
anything,
we
I
don't need to
know.
do it.
And
Okay, good, just a
We're not on the consent agenda either, so yeah, the best we would do is just
Yeah.
receive.
Mhm.
Okay, so do we need a motion to receive? Motion, anybody?
I don't think so.
No? Okay,
I
good.
think so.
Any other discussion? I think we have to move on, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
Okay, okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Nancy, second?
Second.
Sorry.
Thank- Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Yep.
It does say in the,
I thought-
oh, in our packet, in the board packet. So
In the
the
board
the board will approve.
Yes, okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Thank you.